So now let's take the conversation to South Africa, where a 32-year-old man who was driving a gas tanker that got stuck under a bridge and exploded in South Africa on Saturday morning has been arrested and will be appearing in court later this week. The explosion, which has happened in the east of Gauteng province, resulted in the death of 15 people, including a 10-year-old boy. The man has been charged with multiple counts of culpable homicide, negligence causing an explosion resulting in the death, and malicious damage to property. He was arrested in a hospital where he was receiving medical treatment for minor injuries alongside 8 firefighters. According to official police reports, the loaded gas tanker got stuck trying to drive through a low bridge, and the impact resulted in an explosion. The gas tanker was allegedly driving from Richards Bay en route Botswana. Joining us this morning to give us more on this is local Councillor Simon Lapping, who was an eyewitness to the blast. Good morning, Simon. Thank you very much for joining us. And I understand that this must be very hard for you. It must have been a very sad Christmas as well. And, you know, I'm sharing my thoughts with you. We know that, or we hear that you're an eyewitness to this entire explosion. First of all, how are you?
Good morning to your listeners. Thank you very much. Yes, it has been a very trying Christmas. It's probably the first Christmas ever that I've ever had that I've never celebrated. It was very somber yesterday, and I actually put out a message for Christmas only last night for the first time, because it took me such a long time to try and build up that strength to do that to my residents. And yeah, it was a very sad day indeed, and it will be a sad day today as well, and also probably going forward as well. Thank you.
All right.
What is the investigation showing so far?
Sorry, well, I don't know much about the actual investigation, but what I do know is that, you know, on the site there was DEMS, which is the Disaster Emergency Management Services, along with the South African Police and the Road Traffic Management Organisation, and various other bodies were there as well. So they are collating or whatever and busy investigating this whole tragedy that has happened. And I have noticed that the driver was arrested, but I do believe that there is more to it that needs to be investigated, you know. So, and there's a lot more questions that need to be answered, which hopefully will be answered in the future going forward.
We've seen different accounts, although all of them have similar stories, but can you maybe please share with us what you saw on the day that this explosion happened?
Well, what happened was I was called at about 7:30 in the morning, and I raced through there, and I got hold of the councillor for that area, which neighbours onto my area. And he was in the Eastern Cape, Marius de Vos. So he asked me to just oversee and look and see what's going on from his point of view, which is what I did. And when I got there, there was absolute devastation. You know, it was like a Scud missile had landed in the middle of Boksburg and just blown this huge, massive crater. Where the actual truck was, the truck didn't exist anymore. It just did not exist. You know, there was a fire engine about 200 meters away, which was completely destroyed. Another one of about 250 meters away that was badly damaged. And on the other side of the bridge, on the hospital side of the bridge, I counted 8 bodies, and I counted 6 adults and 2 children lying there, and they were probably about 70, 80 meters from the point of impact. Well, ground zero, as you could call it, you know. And it was just mayhem. You know, there were houses destroyed. There was parts of the hospital building you could see had also been damaged. It was over a vast area. There was motor cars that were thrown into the nearby park, and some of them were, and there were a lot of them completely destroyed. It was actually something surreal, you know. And I've never experienced something like that in my life before, and it just brought I was emotionally a complete wreck, and speaking to people. But it's the long-term damage that we're going to see coming out, and that is something we're going to have to deal with going forward.
I mean, it's just really sad to see what's happening, and
yeah. But I also want to understand further. This was not an accident. It was just an explosion.
Well, no, there was no accident as such as what we would know an accident to be, but involving a motor vehicle as such, right? It was basically the truck had driven down the road towards the bridge and got stuck in the bridge, and the driver couldn't get the truck out. And from what I can understand, that the top of the truck where the gas cylinders were sitting, it was those massive tankers. It scraped on the top of the bridge, which caused them for the gas to leak out. And there was obviously some form of ignition somehow, whether it be somebody smoking in the area or there was a spark or something like that. I don't know. And that's what led to the first fire. And at a later stage, about an hour later, that's when the second blast happened. And that's the one that caused all the destruction. So it was like basically a sitting time bomb from when it started till when the actual destruction happened. And that's what's evolved out of this. So, yes, there was no motor vehicle accident as you would put it, but it was just a sitting time bomb that just exploded.
On a final note, I don't know if we've heard anything yet from the family members, but I really do just want to extend our condolences to you, to those who've lost loved ones, to those who are eyewitnesses, and in general to the people of South Africa for this unfortunate incident. Thank you very much for sharing with us your time this morning.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your understanding. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Our hearts go out to, of course, South Africans. It's been a pretty rough Christmas for some of our brothers and sisters in South Africa.